Liam and Arya had been friends since childhood. Both shared a love for adventure and the outdoors. Every weekend they would explore forests, mountains, and cliffs near their town. On this particular morning, the sun rose in a clear sky, painting the horizon with soft shades of orange and pink. A gentle breeze carried the salty smell of the sea, and the sound of distant waves crashing against rocks reached their ears. Liam tightened the straps of his backpack, and Arya checked the small map she always carried. "We should try the trail near the northern cliffs today," Liam suggested. "It's less traveled and the view from the top should be amazing." Arya smiled. "I love a new path. Let's go. But we should be careful. I heard these cliffs are tricky." They began their hike early, walking through dense bushes and over uneven stones. The trail wound upward, sometimes narrow enough that they had to walk in single file. Birds chirped in the trees, and the occasional rustle of small animals added a lively background to their journey. They stopped occasionally to drink water and take pictures, enjoying the calm and the beauty of the untouched landscape. As they climbed higher, Liam noticed a faint shadow stretching across the cliffside below them. It was unusual because the cliffs were mostly solid rock. Curious, he leaned over the edge and squinted. "Arya, look at this," he called softly. "Do you see that?" "Something is down there." Arya stepped closer and followed his gaze. Her eyes widened. Carved deep into the side of the cliff, a massive canal cut through the rock. It was wide and long, almost too perfect to be natural. The canal's walls were smooth, with water glimmering faintly at the bottom, reflecting the morning sunlight. This is incredible," Arya whispered. "I've hiked these cliffs for years and I never saw anything like this." Liam nodded, his heart racing. "It looks man-made, but how? And why would someone hide a canal like this?" The two friends carefully examined the path down. There were no signs of a proper trail leading to the bottom, but some loose rocks and narrow ledges might allow them to reach the canal safely. After a brief discussion, they decided to try. Their excitement outweighed their caution. The climb down was slow and careful. Liam went first, testing the rocks for stability. Arya followed, gripping the rough surfaces of the cliff. Every step required attention, but the thought of discovering something unknown drove them onward. As they reached the bottom, the scale of the canal became even more apparent. It stretched far beyond what their eyes could see, disappearing into a distant bend in the cliff. The walls were astonishingly smooth, unlike the jagged natural rocks surrounding them. Moss and small plants clung to the stone, giving the canal an ancient, untouched look. "Look at the size of it," Liam said, his voice low. "This is not small. It's enormous. Someone put a lot of work into building this." Arya knelt beside the water and dipped her fingers in. It was cool and clear, flowing gently along the base of the canal. She looked around and noticed tiny channels branching off from the main waterway, as if the builders had designed a system to move water in different directions. "This is not just a canal," Arya said slowly. "It looks like some kind of secret water system. Maybe it was used to move things or supply water to somewhere hidden." As they walked along the canal's edge, they discovered small carvings in the stone. The symbols were strange and unfamiliar, arranged in patterns. Liam traced one with his finger, feeling the grooves worn smooth over time. "They don't look like any language I know," he said. "Maybe they are just decorative, or maybe they have some kind of meaning." The further they explored, the more remarkable the canal became. They found remnants of old wooden platforms along the water's edge. Some had rotted away, but others still held their shape, supported by metal braces that had resisted the years. It was clear that this place had once been active, but no one had been here for centuries. "What do you think they moved here?" Arya asked. "Boats, supplies, something else?" Liam shrugged. "I don't know. But the size of this canal tells me it wasn't for ordinary people. This must have been very important." The two friends continued to follow the canal, discovering small alcoves carved into the cliffs. Some of them had flat stone floors, suggesting that objects or even people could have been stored or hidden there. Water flowed through some of the alcoves in controlled channels, as if designed to fill them only when necessary. Arya paused to examine a cluster of carvings. The symbols seemed to repeat, forming lines and shapes that looked like maps or instructions. She traced one carefully with her fingers. "Liam, look at this pattern," she said excitedly. "It looks like directions, maybe to move water or something along the canal." Liam crouched beside her, studying the carvings. "You might be right. Whoever built this was very clever. They hid this entire canal, but they left clues for someone who knew what to look for. They moved further along the canal and noticed a faint path leading up the cliffs in the distance. The path seemed unnatural, almost like it had been carved to allow people to access the canal from above. Liam and Arya exchanged glances, both realizing that this discovery was far more significant than they had expected. As they approached a bend in the canal, the sunlight revealed something shining in the distance. At first it looked like metal, glinting faintly among the stone. Their curiosity grew stronger. The canal had been hidden for centuries, and now they were the first to uncover it in modern times. Whatever is at the end of this canal, it's going to be amazing, Liam said, his eyes wide with excitement. Arya nodded. I agree. But we should be careful. This place is old and fragile. We don't know what we might disturb. They paused to rest, sitting on a flat rock near the water. The canal stretched endlessly before them, mysterious and magnificent. Liam threw a small stone into the water and watched it ripple gently. Arya sketched the carving she had found in her notebook, trying to capture every detail. This could change what people know about our town, Arya said thoughtfully. If anyone finds this, they'll realize something incredible was hidden here. Liam smiled. And we found it first. Imagine the history books, the research, the stories that could come from this place. As the afternoon passed, the sun began to lower, casting long shadows across the canal. Liam and Arya decided it was time to climb back up to the top of the cliff for safety. They wanted to plan their next visit carefully, bringing proper equipment and studying the carvings more closely. As they climbed, both felt a mix of awe and excitement. The hidden canal was not just a natural wonder. It was a secret left behind by an ancient civilization, waiting for curious explorers like them. They didn't yet know the full story, but they could feel that this was only the beginning of an adventure that could change everything. When they finally reached the top, they looked back at the cliffs below. The canal gleamed faintly in the late sunlight, almost as if it were alive, waiting to reveal its secrets to those brave enough to follow its path. Liam and Arya exchanged a knowing smile, understanding that they had just taken the first step into a mystery that would stay with them forever. The cliffs, the hidden canal, and the strange symbols were only the start. Something extraordinary lay ahead, and they were ready to uncover it together. The next morning, Liam and Arya returned to the cliffs with more preparation. They had packed sturdy ropes, gloves, climbing shoes, and a small lantern. Their hearts were still racing from the discovery of the enormous canal the day before. Both knew that what they were about to do could be dangerous, but the mystery of the canal was too tempting to ignore. We need to take it slow, Liam said, tightening his backpack straps. Yesterday, we barely explored the edge. Today we go deeper. Arya nodded. And we need to be careful of loose rocks. This place looks old and I don't want to get hurt. They followed the same path down the cliff as the day before. The climb required careful steps and steady hands, but they were determined. Liam led the way, checking each foothold, while Arya kept an eye on the walls of the canal. The water at the bottom gleamed faintly, winding like a silver ribbon through the carved stone. As they reached the bottom, they felt the scale of the canal even more strongly. The walls rose high above them, sheer and smooth as if someone had polished them with extraordinary skill. The water flowed gently, but it was clear that the canal could carry much larger volumes if needed. Liam and Arya moved along the edge, their eyes scanning every detail. This is incredible, Liam whispered. Look at how perfectly smooth the walls are. There is no way nature could make something like this. Arya crouched near a channel branching from the main canal. Water trickled through it slowly, and she noticed small grooves carved into the stone. It looks like these channels were used to control water flow, she said. Maybe to fill some chambers or move things through the canal. As they continued, they found more carvings along the walls. The symbols were arranged in patterns, repeating and forming shapes that almost looked like instructions. Arya ran her fingers over the grooves. These symbols are everywhere, she said. They must mean something important. Maybe they tell how to use this canal system. Liam knelt beside her, studying the carvings. I wonder who made this. It looks ancient, but they had knowledge of engineering we don't usually see in old buildings. They moved further along the canal and discovered the first sign of human activity beyond the carvings. Wooden platforms, partially decayed, lined the waterway. Some were still stable, suggesting that they had been built carefully and meant to last. Metal brackets held some of the beams together, though rust had begun to eat away at the surfaces. These platforms could have been used to move heavy things, Liam said. He picked up a piece of wood and examined the metal fastenings. They were strong, maybe even used for small boats or crates. Arya looked at the water thoughtfully. It feels like this place was used for something very important. Not just moving water, but maybe moving messages or supplies in secret. The canal curved ahead and the walls began to form narrow alcoves carved into the stone. Some had flat floors while others sloped gently toward the water. They were designed in a way that suggested careful planning. Liam stepped into one of the alcoves and looked around. It's like rooms inside the cliff. Whoever built this wanted to hide things or people, or maybe both. Arya shone her lantern along the walls. Shadows danced across the carved stone, highlighting details they hadn't noticed in daylight. Tiny channels led from the main canal into the alcoves, carefully designed to direct water where needed. This is like a hidden city inside the cliffs, Arya said, her voice filled with awe. It's amazing how advanced this is. They paused near a bend in the canal where the sunlight barely reached. The air felt cooler here, and the sound of flowing water echoed through the stone. Liam noticed faint footprints on the dusty floor, though they were old and almost faded. People have been here, he said, pointing to the prints. Long ago, but still. Someone walked these paths, maybe the builders or maybe visitors later. Arya traced one of the symbols on the wall. I think these carvings could be like instructions. They are repeated in patterns, maybe to guide people who knew the code. They moved on carefully, keeping their lanterns low to avoid disturbing the dust. Suddenly, they noticed a small wooden ladder leaning against the wall near one of the alcoves. It was old but strong enough to climb. Liam tested it with his weight, and it held firm. This might lead to a higher level, he said. There could be more chambers above. Arya nodded. Let's see. We need to explore everything we can. They climbed the ladder, stepping into a narrow platform above the canal. From here, they could see the water flowing below and the vast scale of the canal stretching far into the cliff. The higher viewpoint revealed a series of arches carved into the rock, which seemed to support the canal walls. It was clear that whoever built this had thought about both strength and longevity. This is incredible engineering, Liam said. The arches, the channels, the platforms. It's like a hidden fortress designed to last forever. Arya noticed a small chest tucked into one of the alcoves above the main canal. She moved closer, brushing away dust and leaves. The chest was made of wood with metal hinges that had survived the years. Carefully, she opened it. Inside were small folded pieces of parchment. The paper was old but surprisingly intact. These must be records, Arya whispered. Maybe notes about the canal or instructions for using it. Liam looked over her shoulder as she carefully unfolded one of the parchments. Strange symbols and diagrams covered the page. This looks like plans, he said. It's showing how water flows, maybe even how to move objects through the canal. Whoever made this was very organized. They spent the next hour exploring the upper level, discovering small rooms, alcoves, and passageways. Some rooms were empty, while others held remnants of tools, crates, and platforms. Each discovery added to the mystery. They were beginning to understand that this canal was more than just a waterway. It was part of a hidden system, a secret kept for centuries. As they moved toward a bend in the canal, they noticed something that made them stop in their tracks. Carved into the wall was a large circular symbol surrounded by smaller markings. It seemed almost like a lock or a key, though they couldn't understand it. This looks important, Liam said. Maybe it's the main chamber or the entrance to something bigger. Arya ran her fingers over the carvings. It could be a map or a guide. We should take notes. Every symbol here might tell us where to go next. They carefully sketched the symbol and recorded the details in Arya's notebook. Both felt a thrill of discovery. This hidden canal was no ordinary place. It held secrets that no one had seen in centuries. As the sun climbed higher, they realized it was time to rest. They found a flat platform above the canal where they could sit safely. Liam pulled out some sandwiches and they ate quietly, listening to the gentle flow of water below. This place is amazing, Arya said. I can't stop thinking about who built it and why. They must have wanted to keep it hidden but also make it useful. Liam nodded. I agree. Whoever did this was clever and careful, and now we're the first to explore it in modern times. It feels special. After a short break, they packed their things and continued exploring. The canal stretched far ahead, twisting and turning through the cliffs. Every corner held something new. Carvings, channels, platforms, and alcoves. Liam and Arya were filled with wonder and curiosity. They knew this adventure was only beginning. By the time they decided to climb back to the top, the sunlight had softened, casting long shadows across the walls of the canal. They paused to look down at the water flowing silently below. The hidden path had revealed only part of its secrets, and both felt a deep sense of excitement. "This is just the start," Liam said. "We need to come back with more equipment and time." "There's so much to discover here," Arya smiled. "I can't wait. This canal is amazing, and we've only seen a small part. Who knows what we'll find next?" They began the climb back to the top, careful and slow, their minds filled with thoughts of the canal and the mysteries it held. The hidden path below seemed to whisper to them, promising discoveries and secrets waiting to be uncovered. Liam and Arya knew that their adventure had only just begun. Liam and Arya returned the following morning, their backpacks heavier this time with extra climbing gear, lanterns, ropes, and a small first aid kit. The memory of the hidden canal consumed their thoughts the previous day. Each had imagined what lay ahead, secret chambers, hidden rooms, or perhaps even artifacts left centuries ago. Their excitement mixed with caution as they began the careful descent down the cliff. The path seemed narrower than before, and the walls of the canal towered over them like guardians of a forgotten world. The water below reflected sunlight in rippling patterns, and the sound of flowing water echoed softly through the stone walls. Liam and Arya moved slowly, making sure each foothold was secure. Every step revealed more of the intricate carvings and small channels built along the sides of the canal. "Look at this," Arya whispered, pointing to a cluster of carvings along the wall. "These symbols seem to show movement, almost like a map. I think they guide how water flows through the canal." Liam knelt to study the carvings. "You might be right. It's like a system designed to be used by people who knew the code. This is more than just a water canal. It's a secret passage and a working mechanism." They continued forward, carefully examining every detail. The canal widened suddenly, opening into a large chamber carved directly into the cliff. The chamber was enormous, with stone walls so smooth that they gleamed faintly even in the dim light. Moss clung to cracks in the stone, and small plants grew in scattered patches. The air was cooler here, filled with the faint scent of damp earth and water. "This is incredible," Arya said softly, stepping into the chamber. "It feels like we've entered another world." Liam walked beside her, eyes scanning the vast room. "I've never seen anything like this. It's like the builders wanted to hide something really important, but also make it last forever." As they explored, they discovered remnants of wooden platforms along the walls and floor. Some had rotted over time, but others were surprisingly sturdy. Metal braces held some beams together, showing a careful design meant to endure. Channels of water ran along the floor, leading into different sections of the chamber. It was clear that this canal system had been more than just decorative. It had a purpose. "Do you think they move things through here?" Liam asked, brushing dust from a piece of wood. "Maybe boats, supplies, or messages?" Arya crouched near a small channel branching from the main waterway. "I think so. The channels guide water carefully into specific areas. Whoever built this was clever. They made it functional but secret." They moved deeper into the chamber, discovering smaller rooms carved into the walls. Each room had flat floors and sloping walls leading to the water channels. Some rooms were empty, while others held remnants of tools, crates, and wooden platforms. Liam noticed markings on the floor of one room that looked like they were used to move objects along a particular path. "These are like stations," he said, examining the grooves in the stone. People would move things along, using the water or the platforms. Arya shone her lantern across another part of the chamber and noticed a small crate tucked into a corner. Carefully, she pulled it out and opened it. Inside were folded parchments, surprisingly intact despite the years. The paper was yellowed with age, but the writing and diagrams were still visible. "These must be instructions," Arya said, holding the parchment carefully. "They explain how to use the canal system. Look at these diagrams. They show the water flow and maybe even the movement of objects." Liam leaned over to see the diagrams. "This is amazing. Whoever built this not only hid it, but they left a record for people who knew the secret. This is knowledge lost for centuries." They spent hours exploring the chamber, moving carefully from room to room. Each discovery added more pieces to the puzzle. Some rooms had alcoves carved into the walls with channels leading water directly into them. Others had stone levers and wheels that seemed connected to the entire canal system. Liam experimented with one wheel, and the water shifted slightly in the channels. It was clear that the builders had designed the system to be interactive and functional. "Everything here is connected," Liam said. "The channels, the levers, the rooms. It's like a giant machine hidden inside the cliffs." Arya ran her fingers over a series of carvings on one wall, and the symbols must explain it all. The builders wanted someone to understand it, but only someone who knew how to read these markings. As they explored the far end of the chamber, they discovered a hidden doorway partially covered by moss and debris. It was a narrow passage carved into the rock, just wide enough for them to squeeze through. Liam pushed away the debris and Arya shone her lantern into the darkness beyond. "Should we go in?" Liam asked, a mixture of excitement and caution in his voice. Arya nodded. "Yes, but carefully. We don't know how far it goes or what's inside." They stepped into the narrow passage, their lanterns casting long shadows on the walls. The air grew cooler and damper as they moved deeper. Water dripped from the ceiling in some places, creating tiny puddles on the stone floor. The passage eventually opened into another chamber, smaller than the first but filled with fascinating structures. Metal gears and pulleys lined the walls, connected to a system of levers and channels. The water flowed through them with surprising force, showing that the builders had a precise understanding of engineering. Liam and Arya realized that this hidden system could control the flow of water throughout the canal, moving it into different chambers as needed. "This is more than a canal," Liam said, awe in his voice. "It's a secret water city, a hidden system built to survive and work without being discovered." Arya looked around, her eyes wide. It's amazing that they thought of everything. Water flow, storage, movement, even records of how to use it. Whoever built this was very clever. While examining the room, they noticed small alcoves along the walls. Each alcove contained crates and tools preserved over the years. Some crates held parchment while others were empty. The tools suggested that maintenance was done regularly when the canal was in use. The system had been sophisticated, practical, and secretive. "This place was important," Arya said. "Really important. It wasn't just for water. It was meant to hide knowledge, materials, maybe even messages." As they moved toward the far corner, Liam found a lever connected to a large wheel embedded in the wall. He turned it slowly, and the water shifted along the channels, filling one alcove while draining another. Arya's eyes sparkled as she realized the significance. "It's like a puzzle," she said. They controlled everything with levers, channels, and wheels. The water was part of the mechanism. "It's brilliant." They carefully mapped the mechanisms and took notes. Both knew that documenting everything was important. The hidden canal and its chambers were extraordinary discoveries, and their detailed observations could reveal secrets long forgotten. After hours of exploration, they decided to rest. Sitting on one of the sturdy platforms, they ate their packed lunch, surrounded by the hum of flowing water and the quiet majesty of the hidden chambers. They shared excited whispers about what they had discovered and what might lie ahead. "This place is incredible," Liam said. "I can't believe it's been hidden all this time." "The builders were careful, smart, and very secretive." Arya nodded. "And now we know part of their secret. But there's more, I'm sure. The canal is huge and the chambers could go on forever. We've only scratched the surface." As the sun began to lower outside the canal, Liam and Arya knew it was time to climb back to the top of the cliff. They moved carefully, retracing their steps through the narrow passage and along the canal edge. Their minds were filled with thoughts of the hidden chambers, the carvings, and the secret systems they had uncovered. Before leaving, they took one last look at the main chamber. The water flowed silently through its channels, reflecting the fading light. The hidden structures remained untouched, waiting for those who were brave enough and curious enough to explore further. "This is just the beginning," Liam said. "We need to come back with more time. There's so much left to discover." Arya smiled. "I can't wait. This place is amazing, and we've only seen a part of it. Who knows what secrets are still hidden in these cliffs?" As they climbed back up to the top, the fading sunlight cast long shadows across the walls of the canal. The hidden chambers had revealed a fraction of their secrets, leaving Liam and Arya with a sense of wonder, excitement, and anticipation. The adventure was far from over, and the mysteries of the canal waited patiently for the next chapter of discovery. Liam and Arya returned to the hidden canal the next morning, both filled with anticipation. They had spent the previous night thinking about the chambers, the carvings, and the mysterious mechanisms they had discovered. Today they planned to explore deeper into the canal and uncover more of its secrets. They carried ropes, lanterns, and notebooks to record everything carefully. The climb down was familiar, but the cliffs always demanded attention. One misstep could be dangerous. Liam led the way, testing each foothold while Arya followed closely, scanning the walls and water for anything unusual. The air was cool and slightly damp, carrying the scent of stone and water. Birds sang faintly above them, but below the cliffs the canal remained silent except for the soft flow of water. As they reached the first chamber, they paused to take in the vast space. Sunlight barely reached this area, filtering faintly through cracks in the cliffs. The walls glimmered slightly and the water flowed in clear channels along the floor. The wooden platforms and metal braces still held strong, evidence of careful craftsmanship long ago. "This place is more impressive every time I see it," Liam said. The builders were not only skilled, but they also planned everything to last centuries. Arya nodded. And they left clues. The carvings, the channels, the mechanisms. It's like they wanted someone to discover the truth carefully. They moved toward a larger chamber at the end of the canal. This room seemed different from the others. It was wider, taller, and more structured. Water channels converged here, forming a small pool at the center. Around it, stone platforms and levers connected to a complex system of gears and pulleys. Liam approached one of the levers and gently pulled it. Immediately, water shifted in the channels and the pulleys creaked to life. "It works," Liam exclaimed. "The system is still functional. They must have been very clever engineers." Arya shone her lantern around the room and noticed a series of carvings above the pulleys. They were different from the symbols they had seen before. These carvings appeared to tell a story, with figures, lines, and objects connected in a sequence. She traced them carefully with her fingers. "Look at this," she said. "It's like a record of how the canal was used. They weren't just building a passage for water, they were creating a system for something important." Liam examined the carvings. "Maybe it's instructions or even a history. Whoever made this wanted people to understand it, but only those who studied carefully." They continued exploring, following a narrow passage leading to another chamber. This room was smaller, but it contained shelves carved into the walls holding wooden crates and old tools. Some crates were sealed while others had been opened long ago. Liam carefully opened one of the sealed crates and found small tablets carved with symbols and diagrams. "These must be records," Liam said, holding a tablet. "Maybe notes about the canal or instructions for maintaining it." Arya took one tablet and examined the carvings. "It shows the flow of water, the levers, the platforms. Everything we've seen. This civilization was very organized. They knew how to build and hide a system that worked perfectly." As they studied the room, Liam noticed a hidden door in the corner. It was partially covered by a stone slab, almost invisible. He pushed it carefully and it swung open to reveal a narrow passage leading downward. The air coming from the passage was cooler and carried a faint, musty scent. "Should we go down?" Liam asked, a mix of excitement and caution in his voice. Arya nodded. "Yes, but carefully. We don't know how deep it goes or what's inside." They descended slowly, the passage twisting and narrowing. Water dripped from the ceiling in some places, forming small puddles on the stone floor. After several minutes, the passage opened into a large underground chamber. This room was astonishing. It contained a series of interconnected pools, each filled with clear water. Stone platforms surrounded the pools and channels led water from one pool to another. "This is incredible," Arya whispered. "It's like a hidden water network, a secret system inside the cliffs." Liam walked carefully along a platform, examining the channels. They designed it to move water, maybe to store supplies or even control something above ground. The level of engineering is amazing. As they explored the pools, they noticed small niches carved into the walls, each containing tablets and crates. The tablets were covered in symbols similar to the ones they had seen before, but some also included drawings of people, animals, and objects. Liam carefully picked up one tablet and traced the carvings with his fingers. "These tablets explain everything," he said. "The canal, the levers, the water flow. They even show how to use it safely. Whoever built this wanted it preserved and understood." Arya's eyes widened as she examined another tablet. "And look at this. They recorded messages about protecting their civilization's knowledge. This canal wasn't just for water. It was a way to hide important secrets from outsiders. They spent hours studying the underground chamber, carefully recording symbols and diagrams in their notebooks. Both realized the significance of their discovery. The hidden canal and its chambers were not just an ancient water system. They were a carefully constructed network, designed to preserve knowledge and protect a civilization from being forgotten. As they explored, Liam accidentally moved a small lever embedded in the wall. Water shifted in the channels and part of the floor opened slightly, revealing a hidden compartment beneath the platform. Arya leaned over and shone her lantern inside. "It's a hidden room," she exclaimed. "There might be something important in there." They carefully climbed down and discovered crates stacked neatly inside. Some contained more tablets, while others had tools and objects that appeared ceremonial. Liam picked up a small carved figurine, worn but finely detailed. "These items must have been important to the people who built this canal," Liam said. "They hid their treasures and knowledge here, safe from the outside world." Arya examined a crate filled with tablets and parchment. And they recorded everything. The knowledge, the engineering, even their culture. All of it hidden in these chambers. Both realized the enormity of what they had found. The canal, the hidden chambers, the mechanisms, and the records were a complete system, designed to survive centuries. The truth was clear. This was not just a construction project. It was a carefully planned preservation of history and knowledge. As they continued exploring, they discovered one final chamber. This room contained a large stone wheel connected to levers and channels throughout the canal. Symbols on the walls indicated that this wheel controlled the flow of water to all parts of the system. Liam turned the wheel gently and water shifted through the channels, filling some pools while emptying others. "It's like the heart of the canal," Liam said. "Everything depends on this wheel." They designed it so that only someone who knew the system could operate it fully. Arya traced the carvings around the wheel, and it shows the builder's intention clearly. They wanted to hide knowledge, protect it, and ensure it survived. By now the sun outside was lowering, casting long shadows through the cracks in the cliffs. Liam and Arya knew it was time to climb back to the top. They carefully retraced their steps through the underground chambers and passages, making sure not to disturb anything. As they emerged into the open air, they looked back at the cliffs. The hidden canal below glimmered faintly in the evening light. Liam and Arya felt a mix of awe, excitement, and responsibility. They had uncovered a civilization's secret, a system built to protect knowledge and survive time itself. "This is just the beginning," Liam said. "We need to document everything carefully. The world isn't ready for this yet." Arya nodded. "And we must protect it. Whoever built this canal wanted it preserved, and now it's our turn to do the same." They climbed back to the top, tired but exhilarated. The hidden canal remained a mystery, but today Liam and Arya had uncovered the truth behind its purpose. It was not just water that flowed through these channels. It was history, knowledge, and the ingenuity of a lost civilization. As night fell, they camped near the cliffs, their minds still filled with the chambers, symbols, and hidden mechanisms. The adventure was far from over. The canal had revealed its secrets gradually, and Liam and Arya knew that even greater discoveries awaited in the days ahead. They watched the stars reflect in the water below the cliffs, feeling the connection between the past and their present exploration. The hidden canal had stood untouched for centuries, and now it had chosen them as its guardians. The truth was revealed, but many secrets still lay in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. The following morning, Liam and Arya returned to the cliffs with a renewed sense of purpose. Over the past few days, they had explored the hidden canal, discovered the chambers, and uncovered the truth about the lost civilization that had built it. But now they faced a new challenge: what to do with such a remarkable discovery. "Do you think we should tell someone?" Arya asked as they carefully made their way down the familiar path. "This canal, it's incredible, but it could be damaged if too many people know about it." Liam shook his head. "We need to be careful. If we tell the wrong people, they might not respect it. This place is delicate and the knowledge here is priceless. We should document everything first," Arya nodded. "Agreed. Let's take detailed notes, photographs, and sketches. We need a record of everything before we decide what to do next." They reached the base of the cliffs, the familiar sight of the canal stretching ahead of them. The water shimmered in the early sunlight, flowing quietly through the channels. Wooden platforms and metal braces glinted faintly, still strong despite centuries of abandonment. Liam and Arya moved slowly, careful not to disturb anything as they retraced the path through the chambers they had explored before. The first chamber welcomed them with its familiar grandeur. Water flowed along the channels, and the carvings glowed softly in the light of their lanterns. Arya paused to sketch one of the carvings she had not yet fully documented. Liam carefully examined the wooden platforms and metal mechanisms, taking detailed notes about their construction and condition. This canal was designed to last forever, Liam said quietly. Every part of it shows careful planning, from the water channels to the levers and wheels. Whoever built this was thinking long into the future. Arya pointed to a section of carvings near a platform. And look at these symbols. Their instructions. The builders wanted their knowledge to survive, but only for those who understood it. They wanted someone responsible to find it. They continued deeper into the chambers, stopping at the central wheel that controlled the flow of water throughout the canal. Liam gently turned the wheel, observing how the water shifted between pools and channels. The mechanism worked perfectly, a testament to the skill and foresight of the builders. This is the heart of the canal, Liam said. Everything depends on this wheel. If we document it carefully, future generations can understand how it worked without disturbing anything. Arya nodded, making notes and sketches. We should map the entire system, room by room, channel by channel. Every lever, every pool, every carving needs to be recorded. That way, we preserve the knowledge even if something happens to the canal itself. After hours of careful study, they moved toward the final chamber, the one containing crates and tablets. Arya opened one of the crates and carefully examined the contents. Tablets, parchments, and small tools filled the space, each item telling a story of the lost civilization. These people were brilliant, she said softly. They built a canal to survive, hid their knowledge, and recorded everything so it could be understood by someone careful enough to find it. It's incredible. Liam gently lifted one of the carved tablets. And now we have a responsibility. We can't just leave this open to the world. It could be damaged or stolen. We need a plan to protect it. They spent the rest of the morning carefully documenting the contents of the crates, taking detailed sketches of the symbols, diagrams, and tools. They made notes about the water channels, the levers, and the hidden compartments. Everything was recorded in Arya's notebook and Liam's camera. By the time they were finished, they had a complete record of the canal, its chambers, and its secrets. Now what? Arya asked as they rested on a platform overlooking the water. We know what it is and how important it is. But how do we protect it? Liam thought for a moment. We need to contact someone trustworthy, maybe a historical society or a team of archaeologists. They could study it carefully without damaging anything. We can share our documentation first and then guide them safely to the site. Arya nodded. Yes, we need people who understand the value of preserving it, not just exploring it for adventure. This canal isn't just a discovery, it's history, engineering, and culture all in one. As they climbed back to the top of the cliff, the sunlight painted the canyon below in golden hues. The canal gleamed faintly, flowing silently as if it had been waiting for them. Liam and Arya paused, looking down at the hidden world they had uncovered. This place has survived centuries, Liam said. It's amazing that it's still here, waiting for us to find it. We have to be careful with it, Arya smiled. We're the first to see it in generations, and we have the chance to protect it, just like the builders wanted. They made their way back to their camp near the cliffs, tired but exhilarated. That night they reviewed their notes, sketches, and photographs. They discussed a plan to contact a historical society quietly and share the location and their documentation with experts who could help preserve the canal. This is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, Liam said. We need to handle it responsibly. We can't let curiosity destroy it, Arya nodded. And we need to be patient. The canal and its chambers have waited centuries. A few more days of careful planning won't hurt. We need to ensure it's preserved for the future. The next morning, they packed up their camp and made the careful climb back down the cliffs one final time. Every step was slow and deliberate, a reminder that they were walking through history. The canal stretched below them, silent but alive, a testament to a civilization that had planned for the distant future. When they reached the base, they took one last look at the water flowing through the channels. Liam and Arya both felt a deep connection to the builders who had created this hidden wonder. It was more than just a canal. It was a message across time, a legacy of knowledge and ingenuity. Let's promise to protect it, Liam said softly. No matter what happens, we'll make sure it survives and is respected. Arya nodded, her eyes shining with determination. Agreed. This is bigger than us, bigger than anything we've ever discovered. We'll do what we can to honor it. They spent the day carefully climbing back to the top of the cliffs, taking one last series of photographs and sketches. Every detail mattered, from the carvings on the walls to the channels that carried water through the hidden chambers. By evening, they had a complete record of the canal, ready to be shared with the right people. As the sun set, casting golden light over the cliffs and the canal below, Liam and Arya felt a sense of accomplishment. They had uncovered the truth of the hidden canal, explored its chambers, and recorded its secrets. But more importantly, they had decided to protect it, just as the builders had intended centuries ago. "This is the end of our first journey," Liam said, looking out over the canyon. "But it's also the start of something bigger. We've discovered a civilization's secret, and now it's our responsibility to keep it safe." Arya smiled, feeling the weight and honor of their discovery. "And one day people will understand the brilliance of what we found. But for now it's our secret to protect and preserve." They packed their remaining gear and slowly made their way back to the town. Their hearts were full of wonder, their minds alive with the possibilities of what the canal had meant to the builders and what it could teach the world. The hidden canal, with its chambers, carvings, and secrets, would remain a treasure of history, protected by two careful explorers who understood its value. As they walked away from the cliffs, Liam and Arya knew they had changed forever. The adventure had taught them courage, patience, and respect for the past. And although the canal remained hidden below, it had already left a lasting mark on them. The cliffs, the flowing water, and the mysterious chambers had revealed their truth. And Liam and Arya had made a choice to honor, protect, and preserve the legacy of a lost civilization. The hidden canal had stood the test of time, and now, under their watchful eyes, it would continue to do so for generations to come.